What's up, Libra? Welcome to your August 2020 Creativity Tarot reading. My name is Kayleigh Jean, and welcome to my channel. I wanted to let you know in the beginning of this reading that you can use this reading for your sun, moon, or your rising sign, and it's possible sometimes if none of them resonate. I also want to say that my readings typically focus on the types of questions and themes that entrepreneurs, creative people, self-employed people, and artists are seeking information on. So it just tends to be the subjects that I read on. So if those areas of life are important for you, I encourage you to go ahead and keep watching. I want to get into your channeled information. So the first thing that came through for you, Libra, was I was kind of seeing somebody going like this. And it felt like a little bit of stressed out, or maybe, I don't know if some of you are not sleeping so great, or if you've just been dealing with a little bit of internal anxiety. That wouldn't be uncommon. Unfortunately, right now, many people are dealing with anxiety. But I feel like particularly for you, Libra, there's a sense of needing to find some practices that you can implement in your daily life that will really help ground you and help you kind of come back to a state of calm. One of the things that has really helped me with this is called Discursive Meditation, which is basically, it's a little bit easier, at least from my perspective, it's a little easier than just trying to meditate if you don't have any experience meditating and you find that you start thinking a lot during meditation. That can be a problem for some people. Discursive meditation is basically where you think about, like, let's say a candle. You can think about an object, and you sort of just think about everything that you can possibly think about that object. So you can think about the history of candle making, and you can imagine when the first candles were poured and what they were made out of, and you can imagine the different reasons that people wanted to use candles and the need for light at night and rituals and magic. And you can just start thinking about, okay, what did they use to dye the wax, and what did they use to hold it in? Like, was there always, this kind of candle holder, or did somebody use something different at one point? And you can kind of just go on this whole like mental journey, basically thinking about a candle and everything about it, the history of it, how people use it, the different materials that they're made out of. And you'll find it's actually really amazing. This style of meditation will really calm you down because it totally changes your focus, and it really helps you to reorient in that present moment. You're able to completely shift your perspective. And at the same time, you can actually learn things. It's really strange. Like, you almost kind of go into a very soft trance-like state, and you can kind of just be almost receiving inspiration about the object or the thing that you're thinking about that you didn't really expect, or that you didn't know you remembered. Like, you might be remembering things about candles that you forgot, or seeing visuals of candles that you had at different points in your life. And so it's just a very calming meditation. It's a very easy style of meditation for intellectual people. And so I just wanted to share that with you guys because I feel that there is something about this that can be helpful for someone out there. If you are dealing with insomnia, or if you are dealing with a little bit of anxiety, this is something that I think could potentially really help you. And it's a lot easier to do than regular sort of Zen style meditation where you're just trying to not think at all. All right, so let's go ahead and get into pulling your cards, and we'll get some more information. Oh, wow, you actually got 3. That was crazy. I don't even know how that happened. So I guess you have 2 path cards and an influence card. Interesting. So we've got Firefly and Stingray. And then the influencer lesson is Dragonfly. So that is really interesting. One of the things that comes to me, Libra, is with the Stingray, you can see that there are these colors that are meant to represent the chakras, right? And so there's this kind of alignment. Like alignment is a very strong theme for me when I look at this card. There's all the lines are going towards the center, and then what's at the center, this kind of almost like spiritual spinal column illustration of the chakras. And so this card coming up with the Firefly tells me that I feel like there's some kind of a spiritual spark that is kind of initiated in your life this month in August, where it's going to affect you on many different levels. You're almost working with, your kind of your spiritual energy, like your auric field. You're working with the etheric energy within you, and seeing how that kind of connects to your overall health and well-being, how you feel on a daily basis, the relationships that you have. I think you're really realizing that the quality of your energy and the health and the energetic stability of your chakras, if you want to use that word for them, it really is paramount in terms of, thinking about the quality of the relationships that you have in your life and your forward motion and your emotional satisfaction overall. So it's almost like you're kind of really leaning into some kind of metaphysical truth about yourself, which I think is really interesting. Some of you, I also just heard human design very clearly. So some of you might be getting into human design and learning more about that and learning how you function, on different levels. But with the Firefly, this is a bright spark for you. This is a light bulb going on. This is you learning something and experiencing something in a very visceral way, which is going to change how you kind of run your energy in your physical vessel. So it's really interesting to see this coming up, particularly after that meditation, which was, again, showing somebody who's a little bit stressed or feeling kind of anxious. So you have the ability to heal that is really the point here. Now, the lesson card is the Dragonfly. So the Dragonfly card is all about kind of coming out of the depths. Dragonflies live this was amazing to me when I learned this, the first 4 years of their life in water. And then they become a dragonfly. So they have to survive 4 years, many species, in water before you ever, can see, like I have dragonflies in my garden all the time. And it's amazing to me that they existed in the creek near my house for 4 years probably before they got wings and could fly. So I just think it's really interesting. It's like some kind of powerful expression of who you are, and like an emergence from the depths, an emergence from anything that had submerged you before, symbolically thinking about the water and coming out of the water. It feels like something is taking shape in your life in a very big way, and it has to do with sort of this energetic kind of chakra alignment. Something's happening in your spiritual body, in your astral body, in your etheric body. Something's happening there which is up-regulating you, and it's giving you more access to the light. It's giving you more clarity. So it looks really good for, again, whatever you want to do in terms of getting new ideas out there, or if you want to start a business with this energy, if you want to share more of yourself, if you already have a business, all of these kinds of things are really supported by this energy that we're seeing in your cards. So let's take a look at your spread. Wow, so you've got the Emperor, 2 of Pentacles, Justice, and the Fool. The Tower, 8 of Wands, 8 of Swords, and Judgment. Interesting. Wow. So the first thing that I do get is that I feel like in the first week of August, there is this sense of you kind of questioning long-held beliefs, possibly because the Emperor can represent like our ego, which our ego is attached to, things. Our ego is attached to how we think about life and what we think about ourselves, and kind of the subconscious rules that we have are all tied up in the ego, But then you have the Two of Pentacles, so it's like this changeability and this mutability. So these are very different energies, and you could feel a little conflicted, I would say, in that first week of August. Maybe you're already experiencing this, Libra. You might feel kind of conflicted about something that would require you to kind of go on a journey, let's say. Like, I feel like you're kind of on the fence in the beginning of August about whether or not you want to go on a journey. And this is interesting because that on August 3rd, we have a full moon in Aquarius, which is actually in your 5th house, which is all about creativity, and it's about entrepreneurship. It's about being an artist, being creative. It's about just expressing your true joy and your true self. So when you have a full moon there, it represents a high point in terms of your personal creativity, and it also can represent like an ending and a new beginning happening in the area of your creativity, things that bring you joy, things that give you a sense of peace and excitement about life. It's like you're finishing up a cycle and then starting a new one, kind of thing. So I do feel like it's going to be important for you to be flexible on certain things. Like, the way to get out of any like discomfort is figure out what really matters to you, Libra, in terms of what are your priorities, right? Because if you really know what your priorities are, then you're going to be able to make these kind of decisions without feeling too much like regret. Like, that can be something that Libras or people who have a lot of like Libran energy deal with, is like once you make a choice, you kind of regret it and wonder if you made the wrong one. I think it's important to keep your priorities in mind, and then from that point, like, be flexible on anything that's not on your priority list, and just get really clear about that. And it's going to take a little bit of time for some of you, but I do think that there's something here about really being flexible and being able to compromise on some things, and then being able to kind of stand your ground on others. And that could be a theme you're experiencing in your career or in your possibly family life as well. Now, the second week of August, we've got the Fool and Justice. So this is interesting because in the second week of August, and this is so specific for someone out there, but I honestly get this impression very strongly right off the bat that you're being invited to trust in cosmic justice. You are being invited to relax and let go and trust that things are working out the way that they need to. So I don't know if there's something that you've been tempted to kind of try and like influence a lot, particularly if you have a lot of Scorpio. Like, a lot of Libras can have, Scorpio Venus or Scorpio Mercury, or even a Scorpio moon. You could have, if you have some Scorpio, you might have like a tendency to want to influence things because you really feel strongly, like you have very strong rooted beliefs, even if, your Libran self doesn't always cause you to like project them all the time. Like, you might still kind of have these like strong beliefs. But the Fool card walking into the Justice card, these are both majors, so this represents something spiritual that you're going through. Major Arcana cards represent spiritual growth and transformation, whereas minor Arcana cards represent more day-to-day life struggles and lessons and things like that. So when I see these together, I almost kind of want to say that it feels like you're being urged, Libra, to trust the universe in some kind of significant way, to really let go of your idea of what justice would look like for you or someone else, and really kind of tap into the rhythm that the cosmos is working with right now. And I think that this comes with a lot of freedom for you. And I think, things will balance out, whether you are kind of feeling frustrated and you want somebody to be held accountable for their actions towards you or to someone else in the past, or if it's, something else that you're hoping that where fairness will win out over, something that's not fair. I feel like these cards are saying, like, relax, go into life with the full energy of, being willing to come with an open heart, to different situations, and knowing that we can't really get away from the cosmic scales. So nothing will escape them. And you know that because you're Libra. The other thing we could say is, like, because Justice, this is your major arcana card, it could be just saying for you, Libra, simply that you are going into a major new beginning at this time in your life, since your card is showing up next to the Fool card. The third week of August, we have the new moon in Leo, and we have the Tower showing up here. So it's interesting because the new moon in Leo is actually happening in your 11th house. Symbolically speaking, it's Leo is 2 signs behind, so that would put, if you put your sign at the ascendant and then you go back 2 signs, that's how you get to the 11th house. So this new moon is technically happening in your 11th house from a symbolic perspective. Now, it's not obviously going to necessarily line up with your chart, but just from the Libran energies perspective, that's where that new moon is falling. So you could feel like something big is changing when it comes to your social circle in the third week of August, actually happening on August 18th, more or less. So you could have something going on around that time, a few days before, a few days after, that feels like, whoa, it's a pretty big step for you in terms of your social connections and networking. You could meet somebody new that changes your trajectory in life, or you could see something going on where people are leaving a group or people are separating themselves from something because these people are jumping out of the tower and it's getting struck on fire. And then there's this swift action with the 8 of Wands. So some of you, if you're part of a social group, there could be some major new development in that group in the third week of August that, like, totally shocks you or everyone else. But I don't really see this as being as much related to you in the situation, Libra. I think this is more something that you are witnessing. It's just kind of how it strikes me, and I always kind of go with how things appear to me in tarot readings. So that's something that I do see as a potential, is like some kind of swift, like, whoa, out there event, like you weren't expecting it. And it can really change the dynamics of a social situation in your life, or with a friend group perhaps, because the 11th house can also be the house of friends, as well as social groups and network and colleagues. So definitely some potentially volatile energy there, but again, this kind of feels neutral to me. It doesn't feel like it's a bad thing. It feels almost like, when lightning strikes, that just had to happen. That just had to happen. So that's kind of the vibe I get. The last week of August, there is a big theme for you about self-empowerment with the 8 of Swords and Judgment. So this is about really speaking your truth, Libra. With the 8 of Swords, this woman, her life energy is very tied up in the, it's very tied up right here. And so, and you can see the red kind of symbolizes her life force, and she's blindfolded. So she's like, but she is not being held here against her will. She could easily wriggle out of those cloths, as many readers have pointed out. She could easily break free from this mental kind of construct that's keeping her locked up. So this is all about where we kind of hold ourselves back in certain ways. And the Judgment card coming up next to this is like, I kind of see this as more of a question, honestly. I see the Judgment card as like, well, do you want to pull back the curtains? Like, do you want to see? Do you want to, like, here these people are naked and she's got her arms out, she's totally exposed, and here she's covered up and tied up and blind. So it's like, do you want to take this? It's like, it's like, do you want to, are you going to hear this? Because the angel has the trumpet. And so it's like, are you hearing the call, Libra? Are you hearing the call and willing to unbind yourself? Even if it's scary to do that, which, it usually is, because this is life. Life it's supposed to challenge us. It's supposed to, put us in harm's way from time to time, not excessively, not in an irresponsible way, but it is, life is about living, and it's about truly being in alignment with our higher self, truly seeking always to be acting and behaving in accordance with our spiritual law, our inner spiritual law. So that's really what I get from this card, is like, there's a question of, do you want to go this far to expose something? Do you want to know the truth, Libra? This could actually be about asking somebody a question, like this could be, if this card is like, the energy of, I really would like to know the answer to this question, but I haven't been asking it because I feel like it's maybe going to cause an argument with my partner, or I really would like to raise a suggestion with someone very close and important to me, but I know that they may not agree. Like, ooh, that can be tough. But I feel like this is about really like, ripping the Band-Aid off. Again, not saying that it needs to be done in a foolhardy way, but in some way that like honors your true self. Now we've got the Bob Ross message. If I paint something, I don't want to have to explain what it is. That's interesting. I feel like this is really about like being the change that you want to see in the world, Libra. I feel like this is really about being an example. In a funny way, I feel like this is really about being a role model in some way, shape, or form. It's the willingness to live your life in accordance with your makeup, your personality, your beliefs, your truth. It's like being really willing to just accept that and live by it, unapologetically, in ways that maybe do take you out of your comfort zone. But when you really are in that level of self, right? Like, and you know it, you experience it. We all experience it from time to time, and then we kind of cover ourselves at different points as well. We censor ourselves. But I feel like this is like, you don't have to explain yourself to anybody. You don't owe anybody that. You just be you. You just be your precious, loving, compassionate, empathetic Libra self. Your creative Libra self. You don't have to explain yourself to anybody, Libra. You got this. Oh my God, I am tripping out because this card has come up. This is the third time this card has come up. I'm almost getting suspicious of this deck, but there is no way, because I shuffled it off camera. I put it back in the middle of the deck, so there's just no way. This is a message. This is about taking risks. This is about being true to yourself in the highest flying way. Like the falcon on this card is, able to really see vast distances. It's able to see and speak the truth in a lot of ways. And this is about reaching for a higher power as well to help you to take those risks, whatever they may be. That's really what I'm seeing here, Libra. So I hope this is helpful to you. Take some risks. Again, you do have the Fool card and Judgment and the Tower. So there's going to be some pots being stirred. That's what I'm going to say. The pots are being stirred, but this is ultimately all working out so beautifully for you. And I think you just need to trust your inner being, your inner makeup, your inner world will always be able to guide you. So that's what I'm going to say for you today, Libra. I hope this reading has been helpful to you. I hope it gives you something useful to think about as you go through the month of August. If you want to support my channel, you can give this video a thumbs up. That's always really helpful. Leave me a comment below. If you want to just leave me a heart because you want to help my channel and you want to just let me know you're still with me, leave me a little heart emoji. I'd absolutely love that. And I will put the links to these decks and the link to donate any amount to my channel if you wish to do so. It's always a really big help for the time and energy that I put into these readings. All right, Libra, I hope you have an amazing rest of your day and an awesome month. Stay safe, stay well, and be blessed. Bye.